everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing quite a requested video and it's something I wouldn't have thought would have been very interesting to everyone, but I do get a lot of messages and emails about this, so I thought, oh, may as well do it. I've got some time, so I'm going to sit down and do it. And it's just going to talk you through my career story and my kind of background. Actually thinking about it, I am very interested when people explain to me what they do or what they did at school or anything like that, so it does make sense that people would be interested actually. But yeah, so I grew up abroad. So I went to international schools and private schools. I was in the English system most of my life, and then I came back to Scotland briefly for a couple of years when I was sort of 14, 15. So I did my, what would be GCSEs, but in Scotland they're called standard grades, or they were called standard grades. Who knows what they're called now, I'm getting old. So the GCSE equivalent, and I did all sorts of subjects, like, I think I'm gonna try and name them all now. I'm definitely not gonna be able to remember. You had to do English. So English, maths, love maths, super geek. I think I did all the sciences, biology, chemistry. No, I didn't do physics, that's a lie. It's a biology, chemistry. Art, did French. There was 8. Did I do Spanish? I think I did Spanish. No, I did Spanish in Holland, but they didn't do it at my school in Scotland. I did drama, and I'm missing one. So then I went back to Holland for my A-levels, went to the British school in Holland, and I did, at AS level, I did maths, biology, economics and art. And then for A2 levels, so like my full A levels, I dropped out and did economics, maths and biology. Then I came back to the UK for university. I went home to Aberdeen, went to the University of Aberdeen and studied economics for 4 years and did all sorts of subjects. So like in your first 2 years you do like a broad range of things. So I did a bit of like, I was doing my economics and maths, and then did I think sociology, some anthropology, some business, some law, all sorts of stuff. And then in the last 2 years you specify into like your full degree subjects, so mainly economics modules and maths modules. And then I graduated in 2009, I believe it was, and got my first job up in Scotland doing buying for an independent clothing company. So it was a company that had 2 stores. They had one main store that had been doing really well, mainly on menswear, and then they were opening up a new store that was going to do more sort of dressier menswear and then introduce women's wear as well. So it was really good, it was really fun. It was like a toe in the water into the retail industry and the buying industry. Got me some experience. I did really want to move to London. Before I got that job, I applied for Arcadia as a merchandising admin assistant, and I got through everything. Like I got through their written application, telephone interview, assessment centre where you go down and you're loads of other graduates and you have to do lots of different like modules and things, and then you have an interview. So I did that, and then they take the people they want and they split them into the different brands, because obviously Arcadia runs a lot of different shops. So I got an interview, I think, with Topshop and Miss Selfridge, so I interviewed for them, and then I got Topshop, but I didn't move in the end. Basically because I had a long-term boyfriend at home, so I stayed. Silly me, it wasn't Robert. But everything happens for a reason, and I fully believe that. So yeah, I digress. Like I said, I was doing buying work for this independent company. It was really fun. I got to have free reign of loads of different independent brands. There's a lot of brands you find in Topshop in Oxford Street on the bottom floor, all those kind of like really fun, quirky, unique brands that all have little shops sort of on Carnaby Street and in East London and things like that. So it was good. I got to go to buying appointments in London and in Glasgow, but it was a bit relentless. It was still shop hours, because as well as doing the buying, I also worked in the shop as like a supervisor, and at the same time I was working in a bar, because I worked in a bar all through uni just for money. So I carried on doing that, and I was doing 2 jobs, which was a bit relentless, but it was good. It was good fun. And then I can't remember when it was probably only like a year, yeah, about a year and a bit later, I just decided I wanted to move to London and actually wanted to properly do it this time. So I'd actually broken up with the boyfriend before, and yeah, I got an interview for Debenhams head office as a distributor, like an allocator. So I went down to London, did my interviews, did my assessment thing and all that, and got the job. So I moved down, and it was really fun. It was my first like 9 to 5 job. I didn't have to work weekends. I got holidays. I got 2 days off in a row at the weekend, and it was just, oh, it was great. And I absolutely loved London. So expensive, and had no money, especially on my starting salary at Debenhams, but it was so much fun, and a lot of my friends from Holland had ended up there as well, so I just had the best time. I'd met Robert by this point, but he was still based out in the Middle East. So yeah, I just worked in London, lived in London with some friends and worked on my career. I kind of felt like when I was in the retail industry, I really wanted to get into merchandising, because I'd enjoyed buying, but because my background was more mathematical and figures and numbers, which is what I enjoy, merchandising is almost like the mathematical side of buying. It's the like range planning, it's all the pricing. It's not visual merchandising. It's not like going into a store and making it all look nice. It's not that kind of merchandising. You work very, very closely with buying, and they do all the product creative side, all the design and things like that, and then you do the how many are going to be in which store at what time and this, that and the other. So that's what I really want to do. So I think I did my distributor role for about a year and then got an interview for the international department in Debenhams as a merchandising admin assistant and got it. So I went up to there, worked there. It was very different from the UK side of things because we franchise partnered out to lots of different countries. It was really, really interesting and I really loved it. And I just kind of worked my way up there. I worked my way up from merchandising admin assistant to trainee assistant merchandiser to assistant merchandiser. And then there was just different levels on that kind of like job role. So I got up like 1 or 2 and really enjoyed it. I was on footwear and women's accessories when I was a distributor. I was on home when I was a MAA and a trainee assistant merchandiser. Then I moved to children's wear when I was an assistant merchandiser. And I really, really enjoyed it. I absolutely loved it. I loved working with the buyers. I loved seeing all the product. I liked analysing all the sales. I liked seeing what did well and figuring out what we were going to plan and buy for the next season. I just absolutely loved it. But then life got in the way, unfortunately. Robert's obviously in the Navy, so we were never going to be in London long term. He got drafted back to Portsmouth and I had to come with him. I was pregnant with Violet at the time, so I went on maternity leave from Debenhams and then had to hand my notice in when my maternity leave was up because I wasn't going to commute back to London. But before my maternity leave was up, I started job hunting down here. I did actually get an interview at FAQs because they've got a head office just up the road from where we live, and did the interview for an assistant merchandiser role very similar to what I did at Debenhams and got the job. But I was after a change. I think if I was going to carry on working in merchandising, I wanted it to be kind of like, I really wanted to work at Net Porter because they sounded like a really good company to work for if I was to stay in London. When I'd moved down here, I was like, maybe I should use this as an opportunity to get out of the fashion industry, especially if we are going to move around a lot, because there's not a lot of sort of fashion head offices in every single city you go to. So I kind of was sensible in the end and got an interview at the company I actually work for now, which is a completely different industry. It's the aerospace industry, and it's the hardest interview I've ever done. So usually the way I get jobs and get through interviews is I get people to chat and I sort of turn it around and I ask them loads of questions and this, that and the other. But with the company I work at, you went in, you were being interviewed by 4 different people. They all had like clipboards in front of them with like filling out what you were saying. It was an interview based on the STAR approach, which I'd never heard of before, which stands for situation, task, action and result. So every question you were asked, you had to respond in a way where you described a situation that you'd been in, you'd identify the task, you'd explain your actions, and then you would describe the result. And it was really hard because you couldn't like just chat and have banter, although I managed a little bit. But I came out of that interview and it was the longest interview I've ever done as well, and I was like, oh my days, I have not got that. That was intense. And because of the actual industry and the way things worked, it took a long time to hear back from them. So I was a bit like, oh my goodness, I've definitely not got this. And obviously I don't have any background in that industry at all, and I kind of like waltzed in like looking clearly like I worked in fashion, and it's all very, very different. So I really didn't think I had got it. But I was actually in Tesco's or Morrison's or something with my friend on a baby day, and I got a phone call from their recruitment people saying I got it, and I was just like in shock in the middle of the supermarket. But yeah, I've worked there for 3 years now, and they are a really good company to work for. They've been amazing with maternity leave and things like that, and I'm really enjoying it. Obviously, on the other side, I have this now. This is now a job. It was never meant to be a job. It was never meant to be this sort of thing, but I'm very, very lucky that I've put a lot of work in and it's grown and grown, so I can now earn money from my blog and YouTube. So some months I earn more from this than I do in my day job, and then other months I earn nothing from this. So it's a very up and down situation, which is why I'm carrying on with my other job as well. And you just never know. I never know if you're all going to turn around in a month and not like me anymore. So I'm just a very paranoid person, and I like the security of having my other job as well as this. But don't get me wrong, I want to grow this. I want to carry on doing what I do and interacting with you all and having lots and lots of fun, because it really is such a fab job. I've met so many lovely people. I just wish we could all work in an office together, because it can get a bit lonely, which is another reason why I do still love my other job. But yeah, that's my career story. That's where I am at now. Who knows what the future will bring? A lot of people ask me if I'm going to do this thing full time. I don't know. I really don't know. I think I've been lucky that at my other job I've managed to drop Thursdays now. So I work 30 hours a week, but only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I have Thursday for doing all this sort of stuff. So yes, that is it. Hope you've enjoyed this. Leave me a comment letting me know what you do. I'm always really interested to hear what everyone does, or your background, or if you're now a stay-at-home mum. Huge respect, huge massive respect, because I couldn't do it. It's the hardest job in the world, and you should all get paid £1 billion for it. But yes, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.